This is a new series to show the homeowner how to make his house much more comfortable and efficient at the same time.
Hello, this is Carl Darch, and welcome to Let's Really Teach HVAC. We have a typical house that we all hear these problems. It's a two-story house, 2 bedrooms upstairs and a bath, colonial bungalow type setup. Each bedroom upstairs on the second floor has 2 supplies and 1 return. The bathroom has 1 supply. The hallway's not real big, but we have a dilemma here. This is Chris. She's a homeowner. She's been living here for quite a while, and she's just given me a story that the upstairs doesn't heat and the upstairs doesn't cool. I just did a general look at a bunch of things that you would normally look at. I went up into the attic and checked the insulation in the attic, and it seems to be quite adequate. It's quite deep, and it has a brand new ridge roof vent. The attic is not that large. That is part of a situation, because when you have a very small attic with a very low to the ceiling height in the second floor, the heat buildup there, even though it is ventilated, can be extreme. But in general, cannot see all of the ductwork, but the ductwork that we can see is interesting, to say the least.
To say the least, right?
I found 1 floor boot that isn't even connected to the register in the floor. So one of the things we're going to do is take all the grills off and make sure that the boots are all up tight and sealed. If you have seen my previous videos, you have noticed that we were talking about energy efficiency and duct sealing. One of the major leak areas is at the boots where they come through and they're at the floor. So we will make sure all of the air that people are trying to get into the room is actually getting into the room. I also noticed that upstairs we have a little problem with return air. They're both low. In best case scenario, we're going to have to take them and make them high wall also, because we can't get the heat out of the second floor. That will help. They run the blower 24/7, which helps with, we all know, balancing the system out. But if the system is as bad as it looks like, that doesn't even help. So there's some more engineering and some other things that we have to do, but we're going to get us started. Chris, how long have you lived in this house?
About 6 years.
And has it ever really heated and cooled correctly?
No.
This is a challenge. Somebody decided to put in a new furnace and air. You have the top of the line, good carrier unit, but equipment does not heat the house. The duct system does. So if the duct system is crappy, it will never heat and it will never cool. Until you fix the duct system, it does not matter what piece of equipment you put in there. You can pay $30 for it, or you can pay $3,000 for it. It will not heat the house if the duct system is not correct. This furnace, this is a carrier. This is one of the better models. We have a ECM motor on here, and not the old crap. So that gives us something to work with. We do have a carrier thermostat. We have a 2-stage burner, which is absolutely marvelous. This is going to make life a lot easier. It's a lot easier to control it when the unit is more variable, when the unit is adjustable, when you can do things with it, and this is a good unit to work with. So taking this on its basics, we got to be able to heat this house from this basement floor to the ceiling on the second floor, same temperature, and that's what we're going to do. No drain. This drain never gets connected to the other one, and they did it correct. They have an air gap. Like all furnace replacement companies, duct sealing was not on their agenda. And I think 2 things should be done if you ever replace a furnace. Number 1, seal all the ductwork you can get to. That means all of this stuff in the furnace room here, if that's all you can get to, you seal it. If you can get to all the whole basement, you seal it. That should be part of your bid. The second one is, and you do this to save your customer's life. you put in a carbon monoxide detector and smoke detector on every floor. Now there is no excuse. For about 25 bucks a piece, you can put them in on each floor. You add that to the price of your job. You are saving your customer's life. You're doing something that they should do, but you know they're not going to. It's part of your job. My lawsuits and the forensics that I do means that for 30 bucks, I could have saved some people's lives. And this happens all the time. So that's what you should do when you sell a piece of equipment. And then you will have your customers say to other people of what a great company you are. You are thinking of not only them, a good price, a system that works, but their safety of them and their family.
Alright, here we are. We have a humidifier installed on the back side of the furnace. The bypass pipe goes all the way down and comes off the back side of the blower. The biggest problem with this whole little thing is it's extremely inconvenient for Paul to get back here to try and service this thing.
Okay, here we are on our Jackson job where we have the second floor. It does not heat or cool very well. And we're starting here in the living room at the first supply area. This is in the front of the house. It's the first or last supply actually off the whole line. So we have the nice little plastic deflectors that we all know about. When we're done here, we won't need these. The register is in good shape. This is in the bottom. Now this was actually opened and the lovely wire was actually through this. So that tells us one thing. This is not connected. The boot does not come up through the floor. It's, let me show you here. We'll turn the light on. As you can see here, the boot is just underneath the floor and blowing out into the basement and into everything else. All of the supply openings in the house are basically this way. So we must start at the beginning. We need to clear the carpet back. We need to pull the metal up, secure it to the floor space, and seal that. If we start there and do the whole house that way, we'll show you how to do this so a homeowner can do it themselves. And if we start there and do this, this should greatly increase the efficiency of the system. But that may not be the only thing we have to do. What we got here so far, what we're doing is we're bringing the boot up, okay? Now the boot had dropped down on the floor, so we pulled it up, and as you can see here, this boot is above the floor, and that's what I want to keep it, because I want to notch the corner eventually and bend it over. That will seal the opening without having to tape it all the way around. So that's what we're going to try. So we're going to get this up, nailed in place, and then we're going to bend it over after we clear the carpeting. Why don't we get something in there so we're not chasing it.
Okay.
It'll hold it in place. We can always pull it out if we need to. But that way we don't have to worry about it falling back down. And we can use it as a pivot. Okay, now that won't fall down. Now the idea is...
So here we go. The homeowner is actually using some tools, and I'm showing him how to bend the metal and get it up through the floor and you grab it with the pliers. Now you have to use a screwdriver, and I actually have an old gasket scraper that we're using here too. It's a little broader on the end. And speeded it up a little bit, but I show him here, crush the metal. Yeah, that's it. Clear the edges and then get it up. And you can, always beat the metal back in. At first he was very apprehensive if he was going to wreck the metal and you couldn't do anything with it later. But that's not the case here. You don't have to worry about that.
To the carpet cut and the bend. Get one screw in here to hold it in. Okay, now we'll clear the carpet and then bang it.
All right. Paul is doing this on his own. As you can see, he's cutting the carpet, but he's using one of those snap-off blade razors. As it turns out, he just did slip a little bit and needed a band-aid. And we also found out it would be better to use a standard razor knife and not one of the snap-off ones. So here he is doing the second hole. His finger is prepared and he stopped bleeding, and he gets much better at it as time goes on. He even uses the drill. The more you use the drill, the better you get at it. And by the end of the project, he got pretty good at it. So here we go, on with the next part of it. He goes from one hole to the next to the next. The floor does change. Here we are in the laundry room. Can't get too close to show you what he's doing, but you can see the broken register laying on the floor there. Another one that disintegrated. He pulled the booth up through the floor, but he's on ceramic tile, so the floor is much thicker. So here we're showing you how you start at the top. That's where you start with the tape. That way, when you put it across, you can keep your 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch pretty even across the top of that mark. When you press it down, the tape will stick and hold it. Now, because it's metal, you can make a nice clean fold and go right down from the floor right onto the booth, the malt booth itself. All of these booths have been cleaned out by Chris. You might have heard the vacuum cleaner in the background. She's there cleaning them all out so the tape will stick. And the edges, again, good. Put them on there. And if you use good tape, when you buy good tape to begin with, you won't have a problem. You're only going to do this once.
Voila. And that's what we like. We like voilas.
Yes, not
Okay, Paul took care of the rest of the openings, and now we're going to talk about return air. Return air up at the second floor, we know it's a catastrophe. We're going to have to do something with it, but we need some drills. But we want to put a return air in the basement, and we need to start to try and level the house out. So next time you come back, we're going to start in the basement, and we're going to connect an existing supply run that's there, and add a return. This is going to be all part of the evening the temperature out. So next time we meet, we'll meet at Lowell's. And here, just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with on the second floor, I took some infrared pictures, and we're going to see the heat infiltration up in the second floor bedrooms. The areas between the knee wall and the upper ceiling is where it seems to be the hottest areas. Some places are so hot they just turn bright red. I'll try and give you an idea here. This is one side, we pan over, that's a TV set right there. And then I'm going to take a walk down this wall and give you a straight on view of exactly how much the heat is coming on. That's a hot spot there. That's a lot of heat. Now as we get down closer to that window and get a straight on look at this wall, you will get an idea that right where the knee wall meets the roof line, we have a tremendous amount of heat loss. Heat gain, I should say. It's also a loss in the wintertime. Just like this is the other bedroom. That red spots the homeowner was telling me are frosty in the wintertime on the inside in the bedroom. This needs to be addressed. You can't heat or cool the outside with a furnace or air conditioning. Not that I know of. So we will start the next meeting at Lowell's. We're going to start there, and we're going to pick up the material that we need for this job. And the homeowner will now be using his own tools from now on. So as we talk, he's working on this project. And I'll see you at Lowell's next time.